The following program may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dilly Show. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of The Dilly Show. I am your host, the Prince of Pod, the mainstream murder machine, the hater of all things new, and King Controversy in the flesh. This is Dilly, and today's episode is a doozy, folks. I'm going to be watching the new trailer for the new Little Mermaid movie, which is something I never thought could, would, or should happen on the show, but for a lot of reasons that have come to my mind, it is sort of necessary for me to watch this on the show. I'm also going to be covering some guilty pleasures in music today, which is always fun. I do have a lot of those. And in the main event of the evening, I'm going to be going over some movies whose sequels have actually been better than the original, which is something that obviously doesn't happen too much, but a few times it has happened, I'm going to be going over them today. So, without any further ado, I just wanted to reach out and thank you all for listening. And where are you listening? Well, you could be on Spotify, you could be on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Castbox, and a few others as well. So wherever you are, thank you. You're far too kind. And before we get into it, make sure to follow me on social media. I am most prominent on my Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. A few other places. Just if you like social media, look up This Is Dilly at This Is Dilly, and I'm probably there doing something. I've been using Twitter recently. I don't know. I feel like I literally just mentioned that, but here we are. I'm also on Reddit, but I don't post. I just watch videos of people getting into fights and that sort of thing because that's what I'm into. Without any further ado, fasten your seatbelts, grab your popcorn, grab a beer, hell, smoke a joint if you want to. I don't really do that nowadays, but if that's what you're into, I'm not going to discourage it here today. So, get ready, because this is another episode of The Dilly Show. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be talking about on today's episode of The Dilly Show is my guilty pleasures. One thing about me is I like way too many things. I like everything for a reason. Maybe not everything. There's definitely a lot of things I don't like, which is usually what I talk about. But I also like way too much stuff. Today we're going to be talking about exclusively music guilty pleasures, because if we were talking about all my guilty pleasures in general, I'd be here all day. That would be 12 episodes of itself, and I don't think I'm ready to do that. So we're going to keep it just to music today, and I'm only going to be able to scratch the goddamn surface today. I'm only able to think of the things that I can think of right now. I'm not able to really deep dive into my soul and decipher what is really good and what is maybe not as good. And not necessarily saying all my guilty pleasures are bad, just that maybe somebody in my situation, I'm a 20-year-old dude, straight dude, so maybe there's a lot of things that maybe 20-year-old straight dudes don't normally like. So that's where I'm a bit different. And I'm going to be going over a few of those things. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of other people like this, but it's just how it is. And I think guilty pleasures are a good thing. They're necessary. You need to have them. If you don't, you're a fucking robot. So let's start off with, we're going to do a few artists. That's kind of like the main thing. There's a few artists in specific that I think should really be talked about in this little therapy session that we're having. The first one is Katy Perry. Everybody likes Katy Perry, right? Like, you can't not like Katy Perry. Everyone's heard Katy Perry. Everybody knows Katy Perry. Maybe not everybody likes Katy Perry the way I do. I think I'm just a little different than everybody else. She's amazing. She has a lot of good songs. I don't listen to a damn thing she does nowadays, nor do I listen to, like, anything modern, as I'm sure you know. If you've listened to at least one episode of this show before, you know I'm not a modern music guy. But something like Hot and Cold, Jesus Christ, I was like 6 or 7 when that came out, and oh my god, I didn't want to own up to liking it back then. And, like, it's the kind of thing that if you like something, especially back then, that's like a girl thing as a guy, that's when, like, hands get thrown, you get called names, you don't have friends anymore, like, you get called gay. And I'm not saying that I would call somebody that, it's just back then, that's how it was. You would be called gay for liking Katy Perry. And nobody wanted to be called gay back in the day, and I have to do this to make sure nobody gets offended by me saying gay. This is one of the reasons I hate things nowadays. I can't even say a word. I would never call somebody gay, because that's not a good thing to do. It's not. It never was. It was just, that was a thing that happened back then, documenting that. Anyway, Katy Perry's great, and I'm a little gay for listening to Katy Perry, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm a very straight man. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, which I think is the main reason that I'm allowed to like these sort of things. Hot and Cold is the best. I Kissed a Girl is probably literally one of the best songs from the pop genre ever made. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not cracking up. It's not a joke. I Kissed a Girl is probably one of the best pop songs ever created. It's definitely up there. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, Katy Perry's the shit. Like I said, new shit, not good. I think I might have mentioned Firework already. That era of Katy Perry was, like, acceptable. Like, it was okay. That was more... I'm more into, like, her older shit. Like, her 2007, 2008. I'm not necessarily into, like, the 20... I think she had an album in 2013. I need to find this out. I'm going to look up her discography and tell you when I dropped off on the whole Katy Perry love fest. Katy Perry discography. Here we go. Let me see. So Teenage Dream came out in 2010. One of the Boys. That was the good album. That came out in 2008. And then it was Teenage Dream after that point. So... I can't say none of Teenage Dream was good. Like, I'm actually pretty sure there's, like, a lot of good songs on that. Last Friday Night was a bop. Gotta love that shit. California Girls was okay. The One That Got Away, don't even get me started. This is, like, just, It's just, That's all it is. The One That Got Away is just, If you were around on YouTube at the time when Shane Dawson did his The One That Turned You Gay parody of this song, you were there. You know what things were like back then. I fucking love that video. I love that fucking song. E.T. isn't great. I mean, I love it, but, like, it's not. I can acknowledge that it's not great. Kanye West literally says alien sex, so that's how you know you're dealing with a bit of a stinker. Although I can't really say I don't like the song. It's an okay song. It's just I could do without the alien sex part of that song. What was on her 2008 album? One of the Boys. I Kissed a Girl was on there, obviously. That's the shit. That's, like, her best song, the best song ever made on this planet. Hot and Cold was from that album, yeah. You're So Gay was also there. That's a song that spoke to me as a young Katy Perry fan, clearly. Yeah. What's wrong with Katy Perry? You can't say a goddamn thing wrong with Katy Perry, because there is nothing. There is nothing wrong with Katy Perry. Nothing wrong with liking her either. Another artist that I liked a little too much as a youngster was Paramore. And now, listen, Paramore is not like some shitty female-fronted pop band. So it's different. You're allowed to like Paramore. You've always been allowed to like Paramore. Not saying you're not allowed to like Katy Perry or Paramore or whatever. You're definitely allowed to like these things. And like I said, guilty pleasures... Hell, even if they're not a guilty pleasure for you, that's fine. That's fine. You can like what you want to like. But Paramore, so good. Riot came out in 2007. Great album. There's a few pretty decent songs on that. Misery Business obviously is pretty great. Everybody knows the greatness that is Misery Business. That's What You Get was... What game was that in? That was in one of the Rock Band games, I think. Maybe the second one. Or it could have been a Guitar Hero game, but I think it was Rock Band. What else is from that album? For Pessimist and Pretty Optimistic, that's an okay one. What was there? Oh yeah, one song that didn't quite make it to Riot, I think it was a B-side, was Decoy. And oh my god, not many people have heard that song because it literally doesn't have a proper release on like anything. You can't find it on Spotify, you can't find it fucking anywhere. I've tried, I've looked, I can't find it. It's not there, I'm convinced. Decoy is their best song. If you haven't heard it, seek it out right now. Or maybe not right now, wait till the podcast is over. Just write it down, Decoy, and you go find it. Because I'm pretty sure it was a B-side from Riot, I think. I'm just gonna like make sure I'm not bullshitting there. Because that is literally my favorite song. Yeah, it is a B-side. Yeah. That sucks. It's super good. There's a live version of it on the final Riot album, but it's a live version. It's great, don't get me wrong, but you need to listen to the studio track. Brand New Eyes in 2009 was another one of their albums. Ignorance is on there. That's a good one. The Only Exception is so gay. So gay, but I love it. I love The Only Exception. I love the really sappy love song types. Not always, like sometimes they're really bad, but like The One That Got Away by Katy Perry and The Only Exception by Paramore, like sappy love songs get to me, even if they're like really, there's something else, you know. Their 2013 album, self-titled Paramore, Still Into You is an amazing song. You can't listen to Still Into You and not be happy. Like, that's literally just one of the best songs. Ain't It Fun is also pretty cool. I didn't realize that song came out in 2013. I could have sworn that was an older song. But alas, good song, decent album. After Laughter was in 2017. I don't know if I really got into that one like at all. I don't see any songs off this that I've heard. Maybe Hard Times, but I can't tell you if I've actually heard that. Anyway, you get the idea. I love Paramore very much. I can't even say loved. I love Paramore. I still listen to Paramore. They're still on my playlist. They always will be. Another person who has always been on my playlist and always will be is Smash Mouth. Now, a lot of people, I was going to say iconically, a lot of people ironically like Smash Mouth. I iconically like Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth is just the best. You can't diss Smash Mouth. Maybe the guy, like the lead singer, is kind of a dick. I've heard that. Apparently at live shows, he's not the best to deal with. But that's okay. Most lead singer people are dicks. What was their best album? I'm pretty sure their 2001 album had All Star, right? Maybe? Where? No? What? Wait. What was their album? Was it Astro Lounge? That's like, okay, yeah, it was Astro Lounge. I was going to say, that's like their most iconic one in my eyes. I didn't know All Star was on that one, though. It is, though. All Star is obviously like their biggest song, obviously. What else was on that album? Was it just All Star that was like the big hit on that one? Can't Get Enough of You, Baby kind of sucks. I listened to that recently, and I'm not a big fan of it. I'm pretty sure it's a cover, but I haven't heard it recently. I heard it like a little while ago and I didn't like it, but I think it was a cover. Maybe not. Okay, I thought it was a cover of that fucking hair band that did the Can't Get Enough. Was that Def Leppard? I don't know. Anyway, what was the album with Walking on the Sun, though? That's like, Walking on the Sun is my shit. That was their 1997 album. Looks to be their debut album, too. Love Walking on the Sun. I'll never not listen to that. On that album was also the Why Can't We Be Friends cover, which is okay. It's fine. I'm not like huge into Smash Mouth. There's definitely like a few of his notable songs that literally everybody knows I like, and I don't like them ironically. Like, that's just the way it is. I'm really big into nostalgia, so that's probably part of it. Because when Smash Mouth was big was when I was coming up. It's when I was getting born. It's when Shrek came out. Hang On was off their 2003 album, Get the Picture. I love Hang On. Hang On is a good song. It was in, like, so many movies back then. Like, it was in that Zoom movie with, like, Tim Allen and the kid that blew up. If you haven't seen Zoom, go find out what I'm talking about. Hang On's good. That was in, like, so much shit. Like, I'm pretty sure it was also in Cat in the Hat, I think. It was just all over the place, that song was. They had a Christmas album? Oh, I didn't know they had a Christmas album. We're just going to skip over that one. That one doesn't count. Their 2006 album looks to be pretty janky. Which one had that fucking Getting Better song? I don't even know if that was properly put out on an album, Getting Better. That was in Cat in the Hat. I don't know. It was also in Cat in the Hat. There was like 2 Smash Mouth songs in that movie. One of them was Getting Better, and I don't know what album that was on. It might not have been like properly on an album. Let me see. Where was it? Came out on their Smash Hits thing, but I think it was mainly... Oh, wait. It might have been on their 2001 album. Did I miss it somehow? There's no way. I might have. It doesn't look like it's... No, it's not. So, I think it was just in the Cat in the Hat soundtrack, and then their Smash Hits CD. Smash Mouth. They're great. I love Smash Mouth. If you don't, go fuck yourself. If you haven't heard any of these songs that I've listed today, whether it be a Katy Perry song, Paramore song, or Smash Mouth, go listen to them, okay? You'll understand. You'll like them the same way I do, because they're addicting. Another band, I didn't even list them on the list, but I should have, because they're literally like my heart pounds in beat to their songs. LMFAO. Don't even get me started on LMFAO. They are just so special to me. And I don't know why. When I was a kid, I used to obviously, like, everybody listened to LMFAO in 2010, 2011. Everybody did the fucking shuffle. Everybody was into them. But, like, I never really understood how... What's the word I'm looking for? I never understood how influential they were. I never understood how amazing they were, right? Like, I never really understood it. They had, like, 2 studio albums, but, like, those 2 studio albums are, like, just bonkers. Like, so huge. Let's start with their 2009 album. First song that isn't, like, the first interlude, Get Crazy. That song was used on Jersey Shore, okay? That means it was a mainstream hit, and it was their first song ever put out. Brilliance, that is. Maybe not the first song ever put out. I'm sure they had singles beforehand. But first song, first album, Get Crazy. That's a great start. Great start. I Am Not a Whore's on that album. What? Dude, like, listen to that song and don't get hype. I was literally sitting in my living room watching the Piranha movie the other day, and, like, the overall atmosphere just seemed like there's got to be an LMFAO song in this movie. There has to be. I said that. 2 seconds later, there's this scene where this, like, dude pulls up in, like, a Jeep or some shit, and I Am Not a Whore is playing, and I shit myself all over the living room. That living room is still not clean. It's full of feces because I shit everywhere. Like, I lost it because I'm just such an LMFAO fan. I love them so much. I'm in Miami, bitch. Of course, you can't. It's so good. They did, like, a billion versions of that song, by the way. I think it was just a Canada thing from the looks of it. There's, like, Canadian remixes of the song. So there's, like, I'm in Toronto, I'm in Vancouver, I'm in Edmonton, I'm in Canada. There's a Halifax one. There wasn't where I live one. Halifax is pretty close, though. Then they just did, like, a bunch of other ones. Like, I'm in Austin, I'm in Boston, I'm in Corpus, I'm in DC, I'm in El Paso, I'm in Fort Wayne. You get the idea. They were in a lot of places, bitch. Like, it's such a good idea to do, like, a concert somewhere and be like, I'm in your city, bitch. Like, that's so smart. How did they break up? I don't get that. I don't get how that ever happened. especially after their 2011 album, Sorry for Party Rocking, which is literally full of bangers. First track, Party Rock Anthem. That was your theme song when you were 8, okay? You were there, you know what I'm talking about. That was your shit. And if you're too young to understand the greatness of LMFAO, then why are you here? Why are you listening to me? You should be listening to LMFAO right now. Start with Party Rock Anthem and you'll know what I mean. Then there's Champagne Showers, which, of course, that's great. Put That Ass to Work. I think that was an okay song. Maybe. Sorry for Party Rocking, of course. Like, don't even, like, I could listen to that song for hours on end. But one song that is off this album that I literally want played at my funeral, like when I'm dead, sitting there in a box, I want this song on repeat. Sexy and I Know It. Come on. Like, what? Such a fucking banger of a song that is. It's so good. So fucking good. That looks to be about it off that album. But those songs are so good. You don't need every song on an album to be bangers. You don't need every song to be the best song ever put out. You just need Party Rock Anthem, Sorry for Party Rocking, Sexy and I Know It. That's all you need. And Champagne Showers, of course. That's good. LMFAO. They hold a very, very, very special spot in my heart. And I will never not love them, at least a little bit. And I'm always going to be open to it. I'm never going to deny it. If anybody ever asks me, hey bro, why do you have an LMFAO tattoo on your forehead? I'm going to be like, well, it's because I'm shuffling, bro. It's because this shit is in my blood. I love LMFAO. Okay. I don't have any more artists. Those were all of my artists. But I do have some more, kind of artists, but I'm not going to do as much of a deep dive into them because I just kind of listed them here. One is Daughtry. If you don't know who Daughtry is, go check them out. Song for You that is by Daughtry. No Surprise, I think, or No Surprises is by Daughtry. Daughtry. I guess I am going to pull them up because I need to know this now. Discography. What do they got? Their 2006 album's where it's at. That's where like all of their big songs are. You got Home. You got It's Not Over. You got Feels Like Tonight. No Surprises isn't there. Where is that? That was their 2009 album. Yep. No Surprise. That's the one off their 2009 album. No Surprise is just hits so hard. Nickelback's another one. Everybody knows about Nickelback. Everybody kind of hates Nickelback. I kind of hate Nickelback, but I also kind of love Nickelback. They're special. They're something else. I don't know what it is. Chad Kroeger is just so devious. I liked it when they were actually a rock band. I liked it before they got too like over the hill. I'm just doing this for money now. But every band does that, so like I can't really say anything. How You Remind Me, obviously, such a good song. Whether you like it ironically or not, you still like it. Okay, it doesn't matter. Far Away is pretty good. Rockstar, of course. Savin' Me was like top tier fucking Nickelback. Savin' Me is probably their best song. Not gonna lie. Photograph. Look at this graph. That's the shit. You got... I don't know how I feel about the song Animals. I don't really like it that much. I used to like it a lot, but then I found out it's just about sex. And that kind of grossed me out a little bit, and I didn't really feel like talking about it anymore. And let's get off the Nickelback subject. Let's talk about Thrift Shop by Macklemore. Macklemore had like one song that I cared about. He had like a few others after that, like that. What was that other one? He had another one, didn't he? Macklemore. Thrift Shop was like the one, but like, didn't he have like another big song? He had Can't Hold Us. That was the other one I was thinking of. I didn't really care about that one, but Thrift Shop is so good. And you have to watch the music video. You can't just listen to the song. You have to watch the music video. That's just part of it. I I don't know if I'd really consider this a guilty pleasure because I actually think it's an incredible song. Well, I think all of these are incredible songs, so I don't know, maybe. But Gautier, somebody that I used to know, dude, Gautier just kind of came out of nowhere and dropped like the biggest sad Dilly song ever made. Like, what? How did he just came out of nowhere and did that? And like nobody cared. Like at first they did, but like afterwards he just dropped off. And I've actually done some looking into Gautier to kind of figure out what his story is. He cared about his craft. He likes making music. He didn't really want to be successful with it, that sort of thing. Which, I get that. I'm sure that song blowing up caught him off guard because, like, shit. But, like, he's really good. Like, he's actually super talented. And I've actually went through and listened to some of his other stuff, and it's not bad. Like, dude is set for life because of that one song. But, like, his other stuff's okay too. If you haven't listened to it, which you probably haven't, go give it a shot. It's not that bad. I think that's about it for my guilty pleasures for now. I definitely have some more in the tank that I haven't really spoken of. And one thing that I will say is, if you have any guilty pleasures, I want to hear them. Either just tweet them to me. Go on Twitter. Type in my username @thisisdilly. Send me your guilty pleasures. I want to see what you got, because I guarantee you I got way more than you, and mine are way better than yours are. So go drop them on Twitter. And anyways, let's get on to the next thing.
I'm going through changes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the fun part of the show. Just a little disclaimer for those of you who are not watching this on YouTube. I am about to be watching the Little Mermaid trailer. It was just put out recently. If you'd like to switch over to YouTube, you certainly can do so. It is youtube.com/thisisdilly. Just find this episode. If you don't want to watch, that's fine. I will be definitely describing what I see. So without any further ado, I know I'm going to get copyright strikes for this, but let's get to it. I am nervous. I have not seen this yet. I didn't intend on seeing it. There's just been so much backlash. It's hard not to. Starts off with some water. That's nice. Definitely not real water. Fish. Definitely not real fish. Turtles! They're cute. I like turtles. Lots of coral. Boats? Those look like boats. And there she is, swimming. This is not the best CGI I've ever seen. So she's on a shipwreck. Now she's in a water bush. This CG looks bad. Like, I get it, it's a mermaid. It's not... Can you call it live action? She has cake, and there's a pulsating redness. Oh no. What? Okay, here we are. We good. So, let's start. First things first, I was never going to watch this movie. I have never seen the original. I don't care about The Little Mermaid. Never have, never will. But there's an issue here. In the original animated Little Mermaid, Ariel, the main girl here, was white. Now she's not white. So listen, I'm okay. And I'm happy whenever there is black characters made. Especially nowadays. There's a whole lot going on. The whole Black Lives Matter movement. Totally okay with all of it. But here's the issue. The issue isn't that there's a black actress on the screen. Because that's great. That's good. The issue is that the character is supposed to be white. And I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this. Some people are going to be heated. A lot of people defending this have been like, oh, it's an animated character, so it's not a big deal. But put it into perspective for like half a second here. Be rational. If it was a black animated character, and then they made a live action movie with a white person cast as that role, would that not be a problem? It's just an animated character, right? That's not how it is. It's not about it's an animated character, get over it. That's not what it's about. And it's not about, like, oh, black is bad or anything like that. That's also definitely not what it's about. It's about the idea of changing a character's race. No matter what, it's a bad thing to do. Like, you can't change a black person to a white person. I don't think you should be able to change a white person to a black person. I'm just going to play it through, see if it gets any better. I said what I needed to say, and I said what a lot of people probably should be saying. There's a lot of people defending it because of their own narratives, how they see things, how it's okay for this to happen, even though if the roles were changed, it would definitely be a bad thing. It would be, and it's a bad thing here too. Like, I can't be the only one who sees it like that. I cannot be. But let's go ahead. I don't like this. I wouldn't have liked this regardless, but also I'm I'm gonna get some flack here. Why she gotta look like Pennywise? Okay. It's not... It's the actress's face. She looks like Pennywise. It's not my fault that I think that. Hey, Georgie. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead. May 2020. Is that it? Okay, that was it. Well, for starters, they didn't really show anything in that trailer. They showed a girl sitting on a rock. Not good. Does not look good. Like I mentioned, I was never going to watch that movie anyways. But with the whole, we're going to change the character's race thing just to fit with what is current, what people... It's so strange the way media has turned. It's like anything to do with white people is suddenly bad. Like, that's how it seems, like, a lot. And, like, I'm not saying the inclusion is a bad thing. It certainly is not a bad thing. I don't want what I'm taking to be construed as negative towards black people, because it isn't. I don't like white characters getting switched over to black characters. I don't think that's right. Nor would it be right if it was done the other way around. I'd be fighting it the exact same as I'm fighting it here. I just don't like that shit. I don't like how they did that. That's so bad. And the movie just doesn't look good anyways. Like, they clearly don't have much done for the movie, given the trailer shows literally, like, one scene. Like, they didn't even show Ursula. Like, what is going on? What is this movie? I think they've just put this out to get people's reaction to, like, oh, we're switching a character's race. How do you feel about this? Like, are they just trying to get people heated at each other? Are they trying to make people upset with one another? Because that's all that's going to happen. Because the way people are going to take it, it's going to be two ways, probably. The two prominent ways. One, don't fuck with my characters. And two, it's okay. It's just inclusion. That's fine. And, like, while both of those necessarily wouldn't be bad things, it's just, there's a line. There is a line. And I don't think they should have crossed this line. I think we should have learned a long time ago, changing a character's race, no matter the race you're changing it to or from, is not what you want to do. That's not what should be done. It's not a good thing to do. I wouldn't have liked it if it was an Asian person or if the character was originally black changed to white. That's not, like, nothing is good when you do this. Nothing. Don't just change a character's race because you feel like it. It doesn't matter that it's an animated character, because I know that is, like, the main thing people are saying. Oh, it's an animated character. It's not just an animated character, though. It's a big movie. Everybody knows The Little Mermaid. Everyone knows Ariel. it's not just an animated character. Like, some people grew up with this character. That was like the first movie they ever saw as a kid, and now it's being changed for seemingly no reason. Like, you don't just change a character's race. If there was like, there couldn't really be a proper reason to do it. No matter the situation, like, it's not the thing to do. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be really talking about this openly, but that's what I do. I'm okay with people getting heated at me. I'm okay with people shitting on me. I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. Absolutely. They have their reasons to. And I know people are going to take what I'm saying, like, out of line. They're going to take one snippet of it and be like, oh, Dilly's a racist, confirmed. Even though that's not at all what I'm saying. It's not okay to change a character's race. That's not a thing you should do. Ever. Under any circumstance, to any race. From any race. It's dumb. It's really stupid. They should have understood that. And I guarantee this trailer is a test. They're trying to see how many people's feathers are going to get riled. And I mean, hey, my feathers got okay amount of riled. They definitely got ruffled a little bit. I don't care that much, like I said. Like, I was never going to watch that movie anyway, so I'm not personally offended in any real way. I just definitely figured it would be best to talk about this, seeing as this is what is happening nowadays. Like, this is a thing that's actually happening, and it's kind of weird. Like, if this happened the other way around, it would be such a big deal. Like, it would be. Everybody would be talking about this openly. About how big of a deal and how problematic this is. But, now that it's this way around, nobody cares. And I think that's weird. I think that's really weird, and I think that's a really... It just shows you how our society is nowadays. And I'm not going to dig too far into that, but things have changed a lot. People aren't seeing the big picture a lot. They're not seeing how that circumstance is. They're not seeing how, if this was the other way, it would be terrible. Like, they're just accepting it. They're going along with it. Ooh, a new cute Disney movie. Like, I could go on all day about society being blind to, like, a lot of things. All in all, I don't think their motives for changing the character are bad in any way. I don't really see what the motive was. I don't see what the reasoning was. If there was a reason, I'd be open to it. But there's not. So, what are we going to do here? Obviously, we're going to go along with it. They're going to push it however they want to push it. They're going to cast whoever they want to cast. At the end of the day, I ain't going to like it. And you don't have to like it. But a lot of people are just going to sit there and like it. That's how society is. Anyways, let's get on to the next thing, shall we? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the evening. And the main event for this episode is going to be sequels that were better than the original. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, it is very, very uncommon for this to happen. Normally, sequels are worse off than the original, most people find. That being said, there's actually a lot of situations where the sequel blew the original right out of the water. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. So, right away, we are going to start with Toy Story 3. Now, some people might get heated on that one, because I know the Toy Story series is pretty definitive. They're all pretty good movies, but in my opinion, Toy Story 3 was the best Toy Story movie, and I can't believe we've went from talking about The Little Mermaid to Toy Story on the fucking Dilly show. What is happening? Toy Story is the GOAT, though. Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story. It grabs you by the fucking heart, and it rips your goddamn heart out of your chest. It's the saddest movie, it's the most touching movie, but it's the funnest movie to watch. I do very much love the first two. I think the first one, I'm trying to think about which of my favorite ones, which one was my favorite, like, other than the third. It was either, I don't know. It's hard to decide. I think the first one was pretty solid. Definitely a lot of improvements in the second one. But I definitely just think the third one was definitive. And I mean, I haven't seen Toy Story 4, so I can't really put that on the list here. But Toy Story 3 is definitely the definitive one. And moving on from Toy Story 3, we are now moving on to Harry Potter 3. Prisoner of Azkaban has to be the best Harry Potter movie. It was one of the first ones I really sat down and watched as a kid. But I loved it, and I still do. It is still my favorite to this day. It's a lot darker than the other two. The cast seems like a lot older, even though it only... I think they put it out like 2 years after the second one. And like they grew a lot in that time period. And it's a very darker movie, but it's very good. It's definitely one of the best Harry Potter movies by far. This one, of course, has Sirius Black in it. And I mean, I'm not going to go too much into the plots of these movies, just that Prisoner of Azkaban is probably the best Harry Potter movie. Definitely beats the original. That being said, I've actually been going back and watching the Harry Potter movies recently with my girlfriend. We haven't gotten to the third one yet. We're actually going to be watching the third one soon. It's the next one. We watched the first and second. And I just remembered, like, now that we're rewatching them again, they're so different. Like, every movie is so much different than the one before it. And I mean, I don't know if that was really intentional. I mean, I'm sure it was, but they're all very different. Like, the first one is just, you know, kids going to school for the first time. They're suddenly introduced to this danger. And the second one's like, oh, we went through this, now we can get through that. And it's hard to explain, but every movie, like, if you watch them all back to back to back, none of them feel the same. Like, they all feel different. And the third one, just, I love the style of it. I love the cast. I love everything about the third one. So, third one's definitely my favorite, I would say. Another sequel that beat out the original was Terminator 2. Terminator 1 is a all-time classic movie, but I think everybody knows that Terminator 2 is the definitive Terminator movie. It wasn't topped beforehand, and it hasn't been topped since. Definitely my favorite thing in the movie, I think, is Ed Furlong. I fucking love Edward Furlong. I don't know why, I just do. I love him so much. And he is John Connor in that movie, obviously. And he adds a big twist to the Terminator character. Like, in the first Terminator movie, Terminator is a robot. That's his whole thing. He is in the second one too, believe it or not. But when he meets John Connor, and he has to defend John Connor, he has a personality almost. Like, Arnie finally gets to show some personality in movies. And it's just such an interesting dynamic between the two, and I love it to bits. Not to mention, the cop, Patrick Stewart, is in that movie. He's fucking one of the GOATs as it comes to movie villains. Definitely Terminator 2, T2 is the superior Terminator movie. Also, one of the early episodes of The Dilly Show is named after it, so there we go. Another sequel that beat out the original is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, in my opinion, is the greatest Batman movie ever made. I have seen the new one. New one was fine, but it does not come anywhere near The Dark Knight. Nothing does. Batman Begins was essentially the original in that series. They did so many fucking Batman series, and some of them weren't even series. Some of them were just kind of one-offs. Like, the Batman series is probably the most fucked up movie series in history. Just the amount of actors that kind of came and went playing as Batman. Started off as fucking Michael Keaton, then went to... Shit, who was the second one? It wasn't Val Kilmer. I don't think. It might have been Val Kilmer. Maybe. It went... Okay, there was Michael Keaton, there was Val Kilmer, George Clooney was there for a minute. Was there another one in that time period? I don't feel like there was. And then it went off to Christian Bale, who did it for a few movies, and then Ben Affleck took over, and now Robert Pattinson took over. It's a whole clusterfuck. Dark Knight is Christian Bale. I love Christian Bale. He's not the best actor in the world. I know a lot of people see him as being like very good, and I'm not saying he's not very good. I personally wouldn't say he's my favorite actor. Every movie he does just feels like American Psycho to an extent, and I mean, that's what he's best at, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe it's just because American Psycho is so iconic in my eyes. I don't know. But every movie he does seems like American Psycho. But he is good as Batman, because, I mean, you can do that with Batman. And, of course, Heath Ledger's Joker. Don't even get me started. Best Joker incarnation ever. And I'm not just saying that. It's because, literally, not that there's no Jokers to compare him to. Because, I mean, there was fucking... Why am I forgetting his name right now? Fucking guy from The Shining. Jack Nicholson. I knew his name was Jack something. I couldn't think of his last name. I love Jack Nicholson. His Joker was incredible too. Don't get me wrong. Then there was Jared Leto's. And I mean, I love Jared Leto. But holy fuck, that was bad. And then, has there been any Jokers since then? I don't think so. Unless you count the Gotham series, which I don't because it's gross. But Heath Ledger's Joker. Jesus Christ, he's good. That movie is incredible, and it's pretty obvious as to why. His Joker, Christian Bale's Batman, they work so fucking well together, and it's such a weird pairing of actors, but it works so well. And, like, they're both incredible in that movie. And the movie itself is incredible, incredibly written, a lot of really suspenseful scenes, and I love it. It's perfect. Next is Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, the first Top Gun wasn't incredible. It was typical 80s action movie. Top Gun Maverick actually adds like a lot of story to it. And I mean, a lot of it's kind of dumb. I think it's dumb they didn't bring back the original girl, even though she's old looking. She doesn't look the best. It doesn't matter. She should have been brought in for it, I think. I think it's kind of fucked up that they didn't. Goose had a kid, which was odd. Miles Teller was the kid, which is odder. Miles Teller's okay, but it was weird. But I do think Maverick was really good. They didn't try to make it too different from the original, which is good. Like, there's still a lot of flying, a lot of suspense, but a lot of it was really good. And there's actually a lot of throwbacks to the original, which, I mean, that's gonna happen when you remake an 80s movie in 2020s. Like, that's gonna happen. That's why the movie's made. But it was fun, because I had watched the first one for the first time the night before I went to go see this one in theaters. Like, I was like, holy shit, they did the flyover thing. That was so cool. Like, it got me. I don't usually get got by modern movies that are just selling based on pure nostalgia, but I bought into it. It was good. And the last one today, and it's one that I'm going to have a bit of a talk about. Spider-Man 2. Definitely beats the first one. The first one was great, but second one is looked at as being the definitive Spider-Man. Now here's the thing. What would you say if I told you Spider-Man 3 is better than Spider-Man 2? I need to do a whole episode based on Spider-Man. And I'm probably going to, at some point, ranking all of the Spider-Man movies. But here's the thing. I know Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie. I know this. Everybody knows this. I prefer the third one. And I don't know why. And I know there's a lot of things about it that got seriously fucked up before it came out. Like Venom being tiny. That was definitely the main thing. Emo Peter, who a lot of people hate, but I love because I understand it. I understand why it's the way it is. But we're not going to talk about Spider-Man 3. I'll talk about that in a different episode, I swear to God. Spider-Man 2. It's great. Peter Parker. We got Dr. Octopus, who is Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. I love him so much. Everything about the original 3 Spider-Man movies is incredible. Spider-Man 2 kind of works off the story of Spider-Man 1 and works into the story of Spider-Man 3. I love the three of them. It's hard to talk about just one in particular because they all work so well together. There's so many stories that just escalate up until the third one. But Spider-Man 2 does great for what it is. It is the backbone of that trilogy. If it didn't exist, that trilogy would have fell on its ass. Dr. Octopus, played by Alfred Molina, is amazing. When they brought him back for the new Spider-Man movie, I cried a little bit because holy shit. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man 2, oh my god. He looked way too old to be Spider-Man, but I'm okay with it. It was fine. Tobey is the best Spider-Man. I don't care what anybody says. It is fact that Tobey is the best Spider-Man. And the second movie proves it. You got pizza time right away. That's like the fucking first scene of the movie. Like, that's how you know you're on to something good. Not to mention, I know this doesn't really relate to the movies, but the Spider-Man 2 video game is one of the best Spider-Man games ever as well. It blew the first one out of the water because you could actually web swing, but it's not about the games, it's about the movies. Just, Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie. Everybody knows this. It's a well-known thing. Because the new movies are fine, they're great. The Andrew Garfield ones, we don't care about those. But Andrew Garfield himself is good, I guess. But Tobey's 3. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Perfect movies. Spider-Man 2 is the pinnacle of those movies. I can agree with that. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually the end of the show. That was the last sequel that was better than an original. If you disagree, let me know. Send me a tweet on Twitter at ThisIsDilly. And while you're there, make sure you follow my Twitter, of course. Follow me on Instagram at ThisIsDilly as well. And I just burped. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Dilly Show. It should be coming in a week's time. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Do all the things you have to do. On your podcast platforms, follow me. Share this with your friends. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Click the like button. Leave a comment telling me your favorite part. And ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. I've been your host, as always. This is Dilly, signing out.